Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. It's a
Okay.
conversation.
All right. So, welcome to Saya Wellness, the Healing Mind segment sponsored by Saya Elixirs. I'm Jasmine, the owner and the creator of Saya Elixirs and the host. Today, we are with Honey, and we're going to have a little chat. Hello, Honey. Thank you for doing this.
Hi.
We appreciate it. I saw posts of you on TikTok, and a lot of the posts resonated with me so much. So I was like, I need to get in contact, and we need to sit down and talk. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. I'm a Teddy Bear the highest. I'm a shamanic high priestess. I am love. I am love incarnate. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. I am a healer. I'm a warrior. I'm an individual who is just a pure artist. I'm an author as well. I have my own business. I got time. I host retreats. I help people heal. I do soul sessions. My soul sessions are to tend to the needs of the soul. And I do so in a myriad of ways. I do a lot of energy healing, a lot of energy work. I'm an individual who goes through the journey. I'm often on TikTok Live, Instagram Live, and I share my particular journey, the walk that I am on. I live and I move and I breathe through spirit, allow myself to be in my divinity authentically. As I be just floating around, doing my thing, I am I'm an individual who speaks in rhythm and rhyme. I deliver frequency. I teach. I heal. I enlighten. I reconnect souls to themselves. And for me, being a pure version of myself, I'm a pure reflection of everybody else. That anybody who interacts with me, who engages with me, they see themselves, they interact with themselves, they connect with themselves. So it is very common for people to see me be like, hold on, I'm drawn to you. I want to connect, I want to do more.
Right.
And I'm like, let's go. Like, what do you want to know? What do you want to ask? Because in this
Right.
moment, they really get to communicate with themselves. They get to interact with themselves, and they can feel like when it comes to me, like I'm a person who doesn't judge. I'm a person who doesn't judge to criticize. I'm a person who judges to draw conclusions. And that's because I need to understand what I'm experiencing here in the physical realm. I do have an ego, I do have a consciousness, I have a learning mind. And
Right.
so that's me.
Love it.
I'm a person, I'm a being. I'm a goddess. I'm light, I'm the I am. We can really stop after I am. Period.
I love it. I love it, especially when you said the goddess part, because I'm actually doing a class about embracing your inner goddess. So that's
Mm.
perfect. Okay. So we're about to, well, we're already here in February. It's a month of love. And I wanted to talk a little bit about self-love. So what is self-love to you?
Self love is giving a damn about yourself. Self love
I
is
love it.
caring about yourself. Self
Mhm.
love is paying attention to yourself. When you
Right.
start your day, the first person you should be writing a check to is yourself. And you do that with paying you attention, honoring you, regarding, like being of regard to yourself. Self
Right.
love is tending to you. Self love is listening to you. Self love is acting on what it was that you heard yourself tell you what it is that you need. Self
Exactly.
love is validating you. Self love is responding to you. Self love is everything that would have to do with self that is beyond the ego. I consider self to be spirit. And so your most truest self, your most light self, your most ascended self that is here experiencing this physical reality, that self, you tending to that version of you through the wholeness that you are. That's what I feel like self love is. And it can be expressed and done so in a myriad of ways,
Mm.
spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. However, you tending to yourself full body is self love.
Right. What is some self-love rituals to do that you do when you're trying to get back into a feeling that if you're off, if you're not feeling like you love yourself at that moment, sorry. How do you get back to that?
Was that Harry Potter?
Yes.
Amen. Come on now. I was like, wait a
Yes, I'm like,
minute.
I'm just all magical. I love all of it. So yeah, I'm a
My inner child just like being so
yeah,
loud.
I
Look, she
like
was
to
like, oh, wait a minute,
mhm.
we like
Is
her.
it
We
is it
really like
Harry Yes, like I have him on my ringtone. I look at him. I go back and look at the old movies. I love him. Anything
her.
magical, I watch it all the time.
Okay. So some of the things that I do to get me back in conversation,
Mhm.
conversation,
Okay.
conversation,
Hmm.
conversation.
Hmm.
Anytime I feel off, I would literally just sit down like
Mm,
I am with you right now, and I
mhm,
would connect to my higher self. And I'm like, all right, this is how I feel right now. I don't like it. I don't feel like I'm me right now. And it feels off. I feel off. What's going on? Who is it? What's happening? And so then at that point, I'll be able to connect to the emotion. Okay, well, this is how I'm feeling. Okay, well, now that I'm feeling this way, now that I know that the emotion is, I'm say hurt. Now that I know that the emotion I'm feeling is hurt, which version of me is feeling hurt right now?
mhm.
Oh, 6-year-old version me, 3-year-old version me, so 3 and 6. Okay, bet. Then I want to call forward my 3-year-old self and my 6-year-old self. All right, I need both of y'all to pull up. Like, let's have a conversation. Then they walk forward, and I'm like, okay, what's going on, y'all? Talk to each at the same time, separate, whatever you need. And so I have that meditative conversation with me. I have that inner dialogue with myself where I am the me that gets to talk. I call my past self to the present. So that way my present self can have a conversation, not having to leave the present moment and
Mhm.
dealing with present emotions that are arising in this moment. And then from there, once I get to the root of what the cause is and we done dealt with it, we done felt it, we done been in the ick of it, and I've been explained to my inner children, you know, I explained to my inner children why they went through what they went through, and who I am today, and how that has benefited me. Then
Mhm.
from there, we can liberate ourselves. And then I start pouring love into me. And that typically starts with me singing and dancing and bopping around. And the Beyonce comes on somewhere. And I'm just like, okay.
Right.
So those are that's something that I do always is communication. That's like the main thing I do is communicate with myself.
Mhm.
Some other things that I do is I will hop up in the shower. If I feel like I have
Mhm.
energy around me,
Me
OD,
too.
baby,
Mhm.
I'm in the shower. I'm like,
Yes.
especially cold water.
Mhm.
Uh, Hop up in the cold. If there's a pool, I'm jumping in the pool. If there's a beach,
Mhm.
I'm going to the beach. One of my favorite things is if like, and I don't know if you do this, let me know, but like, if there's ever a moment where like I can't sit still, I can't get in the bed, I can't meditate, I can't move around, I'm like, oh, I need the earth. And if there is beach nearby, like sand,
Mm.
I'm at the beach and I'm digging my feet into the ground.
Yes. Love it. Yes.
hmm And
I
I'm
don't
just like,
know. I connect also with water. I don't know what it is, but when I'm feeling overwhelmed or if I'm feeling like, okay, I don't know what to do, I need to relax, I need to just regroup,
mhm,
I get right in the tub. Like I get in whatever water, pool, whatever I can do, drink water, anything, and it
mhm,
calms me down. It levels me out. So that's good. That's great that you actually do this.
yeah.
I'm not alone with that.
Yeah, you know what I feel like when it comes to water, we are information or energy, right? And with
Mhm.
energy being information and water being an element that holds and retains information and holds like memories, all of that, right? There's so much that our current runs because of the water that's in our system. I know that when I'm drinking, when I'm reading, and I'm doing sessions, whether I'm doing shamanic sessions or whether I'm doing whether I'm doing readings for people, channeling, energy sessions, tarot, I drink water. OD. I'm
Mhm.
talking like I got a gallon of water right in front of me right now.
Me
And
too.
come on, come on. Like, and I'm
Yes.
chugging the water.
Uh-huh.
But one of the things that I have learned, and one of the things one of my mentors have taught me is that like when we have an imbalance or when we're running a lot of current, there's a lot of energy running through our system. When we start drinking water, I feel like it cleanses my current. It allows
Yes.
for there to be more flow. And
Right.
so when we feel like we need to ground, water can be so grounding because
Mhm.
it creates a flow of energy for anything that's skunk, anything that is yuck, anything that is icky, to like to be able to have something to move it, to
Right.
flow. Basically, it brings you back to a flow. And I'm a person who lives in flow. I move in flow, and water is something that flows. And then you being a womb man, like you
Mhm.
have a natural flow as well. And so I feel like water will be something that you would naturally want to go to, and
Right.
that it would also help you feel. I feel like water makes me feel carried. It makes me feel supported. It makes me feel lighter.
Yes.
So if I can get myself some pure water, some alkaline water, or some spring water, like some pure, like not purified, but some spring water, I'm like,
Feeling
okay,
great.
I'm rejuvenated.
I love water. Like, oh my God, I have to have water. And I do a lot of when I'm trying to, I don't dimension jump or basically just different rituals, I always use water. Even when
hmm
I'm in the tub or I just visualize when I meditate, I'm in the water. When I'm in the bath, I meditate. I feel like it helps me more when I'm inside of the water and then I meditate. It makes me more relaxed. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. Okay.
So also sex is a big thing for the month of February. Couples, entanglements, singles, sex, February, Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say if it was someone who was having issues within self-love and was having issues with loving themselves around this time of the month? Because, it could be depressing for some people because they don't have a significant other, and we use February as a month of Valentine's Day. So what would you do if what would you tell that person if they were sad around this time? They're not feeling the self-love thing, and it's probably because they have been through some type of sexual trauma or something of that sort. What advice would you give them, or what would you say to them?
You know, I would let them know that one of the best things they can do right now, especially if they're not feeling the self love, and one of the biggest things I feel like they can do is to tend to the version of themselves that went through the trauma. Because in tending to that traumatic self, that self that went through the traumatic experience,
Mm-hmm.
that in itself is the self love. And sometimes it may not feel like. I know at one point in time, I felt like self love for me had to be like taking a bath. It had to be like doing something that felt luxurious, I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that like sometimes the self love for me is it's just sitting there hugging myself, like legit, just like holding myself like this and just like rocking while listening to some music that I feel. And if I'm sad, oh, baby, I'm putting on the saddest of music that I could come across.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
Yes.
I'm just gonna sit there and I'm gonna be in my feelings. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just simply because, like, at the end of the day, the emotions just need to pass. We don't have to harness the sadness. We just gotta feel it for that temporary period. And so during a time like this, especially in February, where we have been programmed to believe that February is about love.
Mm-hmm.
February is about like relationships, and then you start to think about like, I have Valentine's, or I have,
I don't have a Valentine.
you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's like I'm the type of person I'd be like, oh no, girl, that is true. That's trash to me. I'm
Right.
like, oh no, man, I'm not going. I would not subscribe to anything that is going to pull my energy down. And so
Mm-hmm.
I would tell that person as well, you have permission to release yourself from the construct and the belief that like you need to have something that you feel a majority of people have. Because when we really like buckle down and get to the nitty gritty, how many people really got a boo right now? How many people really on dates? And how many people even with a boo, happy with that boo on the date they on? How many people feel great that they got to even spend this kind of money, or if they feel like there's so many parameters that go into it. I'm like, zoom out. Like allow yourself, if you in your feelings, if you feel bad about it, especially if you're not in the self-love, I'm one like, don't force it. If you irritated, if you bother, whatever you are, no. Let's get into that. Let's get into that thickness. Let's get into that weight. Let's get into that density. Because the only way we're gonna be able to move out the dense emotion is through it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and let's unpack it. Let's really
Right.
go into it without like, but there's an intention though. The intention is always to move through it. So let's talk about it. Let's go in it and let's not dwell, but let's come to a clearing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like with that intention, the natural conversation, even right now, like I'm feeling my heart chakra like woo, because I'm a person who has been like, I want to boo, I want to date, I want to go out, I want to do a little thingy thing. Like that sounds cute. And I'm like, wait a minute, but do I have to though? Do I have to do it with somebody else? Can I do it with myself? Like,
Right.
can I just go, even if I feel like it might, like, I used to feel like I've never been a person to feel like it was awkward, but I've heard people tell me like it's awkward for them to kind of go out on dates alone or like be with themselves alone. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, take away the pressure. Take away the pressure of it being like a date. Take away the pressure of it being other people are watching. You're
Mm-hmm.
just simply going to go,
Right.
you're just going to go watch a movie. You're going to go take a stroll in a park. You're going to, take away the pressure of it. But allow yourself to connect to you in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the way I feel about it is the love that you would be looking for outside of yourself, what you would end up attracting is what it is that is embodied within yourself. So if you're a person who finds yourself not really expressing love deeply to yourself because you're used to expressing love deeply to other people,
Right.
especially if you're like a caregiver or a natural people pleaser,
Mm-hmm.
or like a or a conditioned people pleaser, then
Mm-hmm.
at that point, you're going to end up finding somebody who's going to want you to do these things, and that will drain you at the end of the day. So you might feel like pleasure or something in the beginning because you're like, oh, I found it. So that's that honeymoon. That's that that beginning excitement because you feel like you got something until you realize that, oh, I opened the package, I opened the bag of chips, and it was only half a bag of chips in it. It wasn't the rest of the hell.
Right.
And so it's like really when yourself does not have something and you feel sad because what you feel like what you need ain't with you,
Mm-hmm.
it's a facade, it's an illusion. What you actually need is yourself. Just take that stroll down them steps into your soul, into your heart, and discover what it is about yourself that you're actually looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And even the intention, the desire to even the willpower, the action of even doing that, the intent is self-love already. And it's just that simple. It's just that
Exactly.
simple.
Exactly. I love it. That is totally true. And also with self-love, like you said, sometimes it's not about the getting in the tub and the music and all of that. Sometimes it's about hugging yourself. Sometimes you just need to hug yourself. And
Yeah.
that does resonate. Like just you may need a hug. You probably haven't got a hug in a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm curious, have you ever like laid in the bed
Mhm.
on your back and you just pulled your knees up, like you put your knees up, kind of like a baby pose, they will call it, where
Mhm.
you just kind of hold your feet and you just like kind of rocking there, but like it's just unintentional, where you're just kind of like chilling.
I tried it. I never did it.
When you have a
You just
moment,
like hold it and it just rock back and forth.
yeah, and like sometimes like I found myself doing this naturally one day, and I ended up finding out that it's called baby pose. And I was on live one day, and as I'm on the live,
Mhm.
I'm chilling because I do everything on my live. I be a person, just be
Right.
authentically me.
Yeah.
So I'm chilling on the live, and I'm feeling so good. I was in Puerto Rico, and
Mhm.
I'm laying on the couch, and we were talking about something, and I just felt so happy.
Oh.
And so I laid on my back, and I just grabbed my feet, and I was just like, and I'm just like chilling, and I just start giggling, and I was like, this is funny, like, and I just felt so much joy. And now I'm like laughing hysterically. And someone's like, oh, you're releasing, babe. You're releasing. Like, keep going, like, keep going. And my like supporters on the live were egging me on. They're like, no, honey, go, keep going, keep going. I'm laughing, cracking up.
Mm.
And I end up discovering, oh, it's a baby pose. And
Mhm.
what happened is the way that I was sitting allowed for energy to flow through me so naturally.
Mm.
And I used to dance for about like 10, 12, 14 years, something like that. I used to be a professional dancer. And so I'm very knowledgeable with the body and how to release energy
Mhm.
that is trapped within the muscles, within the tension within the being.
Mhm.
And so I end up doing this more often. And what I ended up discovering is that if I ever needed to just feel joyous and my inner child was feeling just down and
Mhm.
she just needed to feel liberated, I
Mhm.
would lay on my bed and just grab my feet. And now we also talking about February and we're talking about sex, right? If
Mhm.
you allow yourself to get booty cheek naked,
Mhm.
lay on your back and grab your feet, it
Mhm.
feels so freeing, especially if you have sexual trauma. And
Mhm.
I'm a person who has sexual trauma. So this is one of the things that I've done to heal. And it was allowing for me to open up because I used to feel self-conscious about having to open my legs or anything of that sort because of the trauma that I experienced.
Right.
And so me being able to hold my feet and I'm naked and I'm like, no, honey, you're safe. No one's going to bother you. No one's going to, sexualize you. No one's going to touch you inappropriately. There's nothing
Right.
happening. And then I'm like, oh, I'm right. Oh my God. And then like even to the point where I got up at one point and I'm like I'm like standing on the edge of my bed and I'm like holding the bed, but I'm my feet on the floor and I'm dropped into like a deep, what would be like a second position in ballet, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like in a deep squat and I'm just moving my hips around and I'm naked. And
Right.
I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'm just like moving my waist, moving my hips back and forth, side to side, winding it around. I'm Caribbean as well. So like I'm
Okay.
just dirty winding and everything, but I'm
Right.
doing it naked.
Mhm.
And then also having a mirror present where it's like, it's not about sex.
You're
It's
right.
about liberation of the physical
Mhm.
body where I'm accepting my suit. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sexy. Come on now. Like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep.
And it's like,
Mhm.
I look good. Like, I feel good. I'm in my birthday suit. And I like literally, even in this moment, I feel like it feels like air sliding up my back, like a little snake. And I'm
Mhm.
like, and it's like, it was so liberating because in that moment, I got to experience this present moment of me not being in the past, having experienced the trauma.
Mhm.
And it was like, I got to free my suit, my physical body, because our bodies, again, being water, being mainly water and us having muscle, our muscle memory, we will hold on to something of the past where you'll realize the type of person you ain't never liked before, or you are resembling. Let's say, for example, like you and your mama going through it, right? And y'all not really talking. And
Mhm.
then you realize when you were a kid, she used to hit you. She used to do something or look a certain way, and you really about to get hit. And you meet somebody who's similar to that energy, yourself would naturally kind of
Yeah.
respond in a way. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Yeah.
because you got the muscle memory. And so when I do healing with people and I work with individuals, I work with my clients, I help them I like tell them about this so that way they know throughout the healing process there's gonna come a moment where you gotta heal the physical body. And
Mm.
when you heal physically, you're gonna have that automatic response. And you gotta be able to breathe through that and relax out of it.
Mhm.
So that way your muscles can also release that energy, and then you don't have that automatic response anymore to where someone can literally, like a fly can come buzzing in your face or something can come around you. You won't be flinching and doing all these things. You'll just kind of be like, oh, and like even now, like I have people that'll jump out. Like I had people like at one point I kind of jump out or come out of nowhere because I'll be walking in the middle of the night and people ride by on a little Segway or they'll ride by on a bike. I'll be having headphones in, and I'll just be like, oh,
Right.
like unfazed and unbothered. So like you being able to free yourself in these ways, it feels so good. So if you ever have a moment, lay on your back and grab your feet, grab your toes, and just kind of like hold them, and just you'll see how like it feels like you have no cares and
Right.
no worries and no. It just feels like joy.
Mm. I'm going to try it. Okay, so let's say there was a girl sitting here and she wanted to hear some encouraging words. She or a guy, he wanted to hear some encouraging words. He wanted to know that he is somebody. He
Mm.
is important. What would you tell them? What would you say? Like, what would you say at that moment?
Ooh, I love this because I love pouring
Uh-huh.
into people. I would say, okay, hold on. Let me get into it. Let me
Getting
get
that
there. Let me get there.
vibe.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So first of all, my inner child gonna come through. My inner child loves to pour. My inner child sees people purely who they are.
Uh-huh.
I would say, first of all, beloved, check this. You are liked and you always have been. How do I know that to be true? Because every time you smile and you see yourself smiling, you get happy.
Mm,
And I know you get happy because
mm,
you light yourself up. Whenever you see yourself and you recognize yourself in another person and you realize, oh my God, that's me, you
mm,
get excited and you get ecstatic. That's energy, beloved. And
mm,
that connection that you feel with people when people are naturally drawn to you and y'all haven't even met yet,
mm,
that's the light that's inside of you that's reflected inside of them. And that's a very important light that always exists within you. So know that that always being there, that always being you, whether or not you may recognize it or know it in that moment, it always exists and it's always loving on you. That's
mm,
how important you are. I want you to remember that no matter how far away that you get away from yourself loves you so much that it will always give you directions on how to get back to yourself. It loves yourself loves you so much that it gives you the room to go venture and run away from yourself and lose yourself, just so that way you can rediscover yourself again and get excited. And you always get excited when you rediscover yourself. That's how important you are. I
right.
want you to understand that literally when it comes to the cosmos, when it comes to this universe, when it comes to this earth, you're so important and you're so needed. Why? Because everywhere you go, I know you're a light because if we're talking, you must be a reflection of me. And I
Mm,
know I'm divinity and I know that I'm light. So in this moment, what's really happening is, babe, you're helping the planet literally raise her vibration by just being an individual that's breathing and wanting to be peace. Your desire to have peace, your desire to be loved, your desire to have people feel the best that they can be
mhm,
is more than enough because you're changing the room already just by wanting to think differently, just by wanting to feel so purely. Your desire to even want to love yourself and do the best that you can for yourself it's such enough that you having that just mere thought has a creator that created a creation that made you and things of this sort and everything here, delivering stuff in the creation to you specifically without you even asking for it.
right.
Verbatim. I will let them know, beloved, take your hand and place it over your heart and feel your heart beat. Guess what? That heart is beating for you every day, all
Mm,
day, whether you're conscious or unconscious, because it loves you so
right.
much and it's gonna make sure the blood in your body always gonna be pumping so you're always taken care of. And then I would say, beloved, even when you feel like you don't love yourself, your lungs are expanding and deflating, expanding and deflating, drawing in oxygen to keep you alive
Mhm.
because you love yourself. And guess who's always providing you oxygen even when you don't ask? Come on now.
Mm,
Come on now. I'm like, whenever you even need a moment and you pick me up and you know you don't want to be down anymore, I know you always have something to give you a little chuckle, a little giggle, a little smile, a little curvature
mm,
to get you spruced back up in some sort of way. And then it will keep trying over and over again in a myriad of ways until it reaches you. That's
mhm,
how important you are. That's
mm,
how loved you are. That's how real you are. On the
mm,
inside of you, there's an inner child that's always ready to connect with you. And
right.
even when they're nervous, they don't know if they can trust you just yet. They're going to deliver to you somebody who could help you connect to them because they feel safe with them. And they'll get back to you in some sort of way. That's how loved
Mhm.
you are.
Oh,
Uh,
I love that. I love it.
yeah.
After hearing that, I'm pretty sure they're gonna tear up and start realizing that they need to love themselves. They are loved. They are here for a reason. Everyone is here for a reason. So, how do you go by, let's say, shifting your reality or shifting? What would you tell someone who wants to shift their reality?
Oh, sit down and have a conversation with yourself.
Mm,
Figure out what it is about your current reality
mm-hmm,
that you like and
mm-hmm,
that you don't like.
right.
And be completely honest with that don't like.
Mm,
And then when you figure out what you don't like about your reality, ask yourself why you don't like it. What is it about? Because when you gather all the information you need about your present reality
mm-hmm,
and you got the current T, then you can start to reshape your current reality to become what you would actually enjoy.
mm-hmm,
But it's through understanding the present reality that
mm,
you could actually cultivate, create, and curate a reality that you would actually appreciate.
mm,
Because sometimes we want to create a reality and be like, you know what, I need something different. I want to shift this. But we don't know why we shift things. So I'm like, let's get to the why you want to change things, why things need to be different, especially somebody's like, I need to do something.
right.
Because things are already flowing. You already in a flow, even when you don't know that you're flowing. And the most high, the creator, like your higher self, I consider my higher self to be the creator of all creation. The
Mm,
energy that is that created a creation that would even create the word God, universe, and all these things.
mm,
So when I connect to my higher self, I'm connecting to pure source consciousness. I'm creating to pure energy, energy that just is, that has no categorization to what
right.
would be I am.
Mm-hmm,
And so I'm like, when I need to shift my reality, the Most High already has me on a trajectory,
mm,
already has me in flow and in harmony with everything that is on land and in sea.
right.
This entire universe and the multiverses that are. So I'm like, if I personally feel like I need to change something, is that my ego that's telling me I need to change something? Or is that my spirit telling me I need to change something? If my ego is telling me I need to change something, hold on, spirit, wait a
Right.
minute.
Right.
Because my ego don't have all the tea. My ego's not a knowing mind, it's a learning mind. And I'm
Right.
like, my spirit is a knowing mind. And that's my subconscious has all the has access to pure information, pure source consciousness. So I'm
Mm,
like, wait a minute here. Let me go ahead and tap into my spirit. Do I need to change something? And if my spirit's like, yes, and I'm like, okay, bet. What about my reality needs changing?
mm,
Okay. And then not even why does it need changing, but it's how do I change it?
mm-hmm,
And then I will let things change. And then in this moment, I'm also hearing, I would ask myself the question, I would also say, deliver to me clear insight after I have shifted out of this energy on why it was that I needed to shift. So that way I can cultivate the tools necessary to continue to build upon what I have now and not use the tools that I have to build what I had before because I was comfortable there or whatever was it. So that way I know that I'm not going to just revert back to that. Get a new house, and then the new house was dirty, and it was like, well, I moved out that house because it was too much clutter in it, and it was too much stuff. I didn't like all that. Then I get a new house, and I move the same shit in it, and it's
mm,
like there's so much clutter. So it's like, oh, what is the issue? What's the issue here before I go over there and I do some things? So that
right.
way I know I'm not going to look for the same things, attract the same things, because when it comes to the eyes, like unless I'm using my first eye for, I like to use my first eye for everything. There's somebody's not there yet, and they're using their, second, third, they're using their human eyes,
Mm-hmm,
then your ego is going to put you in a space where you're automatically going to be drawn to shit that you already know about, stuff that you already been accustomed to, because your ego wants to keep you safe, and it can only keep you safe by giving you what it knows.
yeah.
Your spirit knows infinite, and
Mm,
so it's going to give you what you need. And you'll feel it and you'll know it. But you'll be like, nah, I ain't never chose that before. And it's like, I know, because you ain't know nothing about it. So you got to
Exactly.
choose it and let it play.
Right.
So that's what I would tell someone who wants to shift their reality. I feel like there's nope, that's it. That's what I would
Okay, I love that. That was a
say.
great,
Thank you.
great way. Wow. I like literally. Okay. So being magnetic.
Okay.
So let's say I wanted to attract a new lover. I wanted to attract
Mm.
someone, a man, a whatever. I wanted to attract someone to me. How do I go by becoming that magnetic or becoming magnetic to attract them to me? What do I need to do? Or how do I go by doing that?
Okay. First, what would you want to attract, right? When you know what you want to attract,
Mm-hmm.
energy. So it wouldn't be, this would go beyond physical characteristics.
Okay.
It would be what is the frequency of the person that you're drawing in?
Mm.
What is it that what type of person are you pulling in? And also, do you, this one got me. This actually just got me before I even said it. My spirit was like, check yourself. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh,
Mm.
so I just got mind blown. So what are
No,
you
I
attracting
uh-huh.
and do you need?
Mm.
Your needs are always met.
That's completely right. What if I want this is what I think I want and it's not what I need.
Yeah. And so this is why we got to go to the energy because sometimes, right? Let's like, I'm gonna use us for example because I know we both got our own business, right?
Right.
Let's say you're a boss.
Mm-hmm.
You're a person who always take care of your own stuff. You take care of yourself financially. You got this. Whenever you don't have something, you make sure you get it. Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the type of person you're like, I want to attract somebody who's gonna, take care of me. Somebody who's gonna like, have me. Somebody who's
Right.
gonna be able to, da da da. And you're like, I've been trying to attract you, but for some reason I'm not attracting that. I'm attracting something else. And it's like that,
Mm.
why is that not coming in?
Right. What's
And
on?
then you don't need it. They
Mm.
would come in and not have a purpose. They would literally just be like, you would want them to do it. Like your mind is like, I would love to have it. But you are already getting that taken care of by your higher self. The
Right.
universe got you, your higher self got you, your
Mm.
inner child be having you got you, your ego got you, and you already cultivated a type of mindset where like if you ever don't have something, you're gonna make sure you get it. And so
Exactly.
you're not one to be somebody to wait for somebody to give it to you anyway.
Right.
So like, and then you ain't gonna be somebody like most likely you had a childhood where you had to ask for permission. And so now you older and you don't ask for permission for shit now, especially if
Mm.
you got your own. So you ain't gonna
Right.
want to call nobody, hey, can you do
No,
this? And then have to potentially
absolutely
deal with them saying no or like, let me call you back. Okay, well, let me do this. Let me wait. Okay, well, let me send it. Oh, I'm busy. Especially if they busy and they have it and they can't. Right, right. And so then you're like,
not.
oh, yourself ain't gonna give you that. Why? Because yourself love you too much. And it's gonna be
Right.
like, no, that person gonna take you out. No, ma'am. And so
Yeah.
then you're like, so then what I would say is if you start more than like wanting to attract something specifically, I would say ask yourself, what are you already attracting?
Mm.
Based off of what you're attracting, do you like it?
Right.
If you and then outside of do you like it, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about what you're attracting? And if you're
Right.
like, well, this is what I've been calling in,
Right.
and I just feel like it ain't working. I feel like, and then so then let's say it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would be like, ask yourself, is it not working because you're in resistance? Or
Mm.
is it not working because I'm hearing the word rejection? Are
Mm.
you rejecting it for some reason?
Right.
But if you're constantly attracting something
Right.
and you're like, this ain't what I want, but it's
Right.
constantly coming in, it
Right.
must be something that you need. So what about yourself is not being free, that wants to be free? I know sometimes, especially in today's age, I know sometimes, I won't say that. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to attract a partner
Right.
and we want to have some sort of relationship. And that relationship is typically of a construct that
Mm-hmm.
we actually don't vibe with.
Right.
Especially if you're a person who's like kind of spiritual, you're free, you living, you want to like, you are in your authenticity, you're in your freedom, your joy, right? You're in your
Right.
peace.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really trying to have like a contract. You're not really trying to be
No.
held. You just freed yourself from so many
Exactly.
things, especially doing
Right.
shadow work, doing all of that. Like you want to have freedom. You may not necessarily need to go have multiple partners to be polygamous, but you also don't want titles, most likely. You kind of just want like understanding. You
Mm-hmm.
want just like conversation was just like, oh, like I naturally, enjoy you, you naturally enjoy me. We don't need to label a boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, anything of that sort. But
Mhm.
it's I don't have no desire to go nowhere else. I have what I like. I have what I need. I don't, and it's just an understanding, and in that is just peace.
Mhm.
And so y'all get to be. And so there's somewhere that this is going, but like my spirit is talking to this very
No,
moment.
I
But
let
it's
them
just like
talk.
as,
Let
but
the
it's just
spirit
kind of like
talk.
whatever. It's like whatever you're attracting, let yourself call it in because you might even find yourself wanting something that might feel like it would be a one night stand or it would be something just sexual, but yourself may actually need sexual liberation. Let's say, for example, you had sexual trauma and you've been healing your sexual trauma and you've been doing all that on your own. Yourself is going to want to have an experience that will let you know you're not going to be hurt again sexually. Yourself ain't going to want to wait and doesn't need to wait for you to have a husband or a wife or a partner or a girlfriend or committed all of this. Your ego will probably want all that so that way you know that you're not going to be hurt again. But that's traumatic. That's a traumatic response. Yourself is like, oh no, babe, go bump middle. Go ahead and go, do what you got to do, dangle, dangle, wangle, wangle, and have the experience so that way you know that you're liberated because yourself is about the liberation. Yourself ain't judging it or critiquing or criticizing the actual action, and yourself would actually draw in somebody who's energetically aligned with you. That energetic alignment will let you know that you could have that one night stand, you could have that sexual encounter on night one, not even know each other's names. And it's perfect because you know each other's souls. And
Mhm.
that's perfectly fine because it's about the soul liberation, about the soul connection. It's about that light exchange more so than it is about anything to go with. And then you might find, wow, that was such a beautiful and healing moment for the both of us. Thank you, being. Thank you, thank you, light. And what I'm seeing right now is the image of a tree getting pollinated by the plant. Like a bee all up on this particular flower, flying to another flower and pollinating it. Those two flowers never met. The
Mhm.
bee was the one who carried something to pregnate the other one to get something done. They didn't have a chance to know each other's names, to know all of these things. I think about even butterflies. Certain butterflies, their only role, like a certain type of moth I just saw about on the Nature Channel, their only role is to mate. They don't have mouths to even eat anything. So like they have like 2 weeks to go find a mate, and then they bump past it, and then they go. So that
Right.
way those so that way things can continue to flow, nature, harmony, balance in nature, right?
Mhm.
If animals can do that, we're not different from animals. We just made it more complicated because we have ego and we have trauma. And
Right.
so it's like you could free yourself from all of that and say, I'm not a slut, I'm not a hoe, I'm not a this, I'm not a that. It ain't no labels there. There's no name. I'm
Mhm.
not promiscuous. If you could rid yourself of all of that judgment and you
Mhm.
can say, wait a minute, there is a need that I have, and it's
Right.
a sexual need.
Mhm.
Oh, I could literally just go have sex and understand that the sex itself is going to be cosmic because it's not going to be bum, 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 and done.
No.
You're already in your spirit. You didn't already get the healing work to ascend to get to a level of being about spiritual and energetic connection. So
Mhm.
you're going to literally attract that. And you'll most likely end up attracting somebody who looks, sounds, and feels similar to what you had before that traumatized you. And
Mhm.
that was similar in reflections of that trauma.
Mhm.
And then you'll be like, nope, I don't want it. I'm gonna push it away. But it's only because you look at your eyes. Close your eyes for a second and breathe and be like, oh, but I'm drawn to it. Follow the draw. Just follow the draw. Just go and just be like, oh, girl, fire. Okay. And then allow yourself to go into it. And you may find, oh, wow, we didn't even end up having sex, but we end up having this 6 hour conversation. And the
Mhm.
conversation felt so sexual, so intimate that we both liberated ourselves and it gave me an orgasm itself. Just the conversation was like,
Mhm.
wow, I actually healed what I needed to heal. Now I could go find my dude
Right.
because I'm cleared of that past energy and the real person that's for me romantically in the relationships is my partner. My
Mhm.
partner is going to be for the version of me that's healed beyond my trauma.
Right.
Unless I heal the trauma, I'm going
Mhm.
to still attract the versions of myself that need to help me heal the trauma because
Mhm.
I'm going to get the healing done. You have a wound, a cut on your finger, your skin is going to, you're going to see it heal. It's going to heal on itself, regardless of whether or not you tend to it or band aid it. You could have a cut, a gash, anything, and you could not like tend to the wound and watch the wound scab up and look like it's infected and everything, but doesn't it get covered up somehow? And
Mhm.
it even will pick up stuff from the air. The air will deliver dust and everything. And you're like, damn, because what is your body doing? It's healing and it's using every element to heal itself
Right.
naturally. You're naturally programmed to heal. And so when we try to attract certain partners, what'll end up happening is that you're trying to attract a partner for a healed version of yourself. You ain't come yet. And so yourself is you're going to walk the journey of attracting the partners that are going to help you heal because you're going to need a physical person as well. You're going to need a reflection in order to complete the healing process of that self.
Mm.
And when you attract that in and you finally have that liberation, then the person that is going to be completely different than anything you've had is going to come in and you're going to be like, oh, damn, I wouldn't have never chosen this or even wouldn't have been in the space to even be in alignment with it because energetically, you wasn't emotionally there. And in order
Mhm.
to attract something, you already know this, especially like, having your business, your oils, like
Right.
you gotta be in alignment energetically.
Yeah, you
If
do.
you're not in energetic alignment, it ain't gonna work. But how do you get to that energetic place if you carrying a weight that's holding you down to get there? If you
Exactly.
constantly got a weight on your ankle and you're trying to fly to get there, somebody gonna either have to help you snip the rope or you're gonna have to fly down to your ankles and snip the rope,
Right.
untie it or something. So then you can go. And so that's how you allow yourself to ascend and get to that place where you actually are able to even be at the restaurant that your partner would be at,
Mm.
where
Right.
you're constantly in the spaces where those type of people are at, where you're like, I know who I want. And if you know what you want, and you're like, this is the type of person that I know I'm supposed to be with.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, they're just not coming in.
Mm.
Don't lose sight of that.
Mm.
Write it down on that, get that paper, and you fold that paper up towards yourself and
Yep.
you hold on
That's
to that. Place
right.
that baby on your altar. If you get
Yes.
oils from you, take that
Mm-hmm.
oil and put it on top
Yep.
of that paper and hold on to that. Cover that baby. I'm a person who, like, my magic is OD. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
put that oil in a bowl with some Florida water and I'm gonna dunk it in, soak that paper in it, and I'm gonna make sure that it just sits there. Just let it sit there. Let it
Yeah.
dissolve.
Now that's a
Let it
gem.
be with that oil. That
Yeah.
come on now. And
Yes.
then I know you have gemstones as well on top of
Yep.
your elixirs. So
Right.
take that gemstone and make sure that gemstone is with that. I like to circle things. So I'm gonna take that gemstone and I'm gonna circle it around and I'm gonna connect
Yeah.
my magic with the gemstone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna use that and encompass my magic in it.
Right.
Put that on the altar. Put that wherever it is that your magic is most potent in space. You
Right.
feel safe and sacred. Then from there, allow yourself to go through the experiences. Because already with that, you done
Mm-hmm.
did the magic necessary to attract everything to help you
Exactly.
heal. Just don't
Right.
run from the healing.
Mm.
Don't run from the people who are naturally coming into you, even if you're like, I don't want that energy, it feels
That's not it.
toxic.
Exactly.
I know you got to go through toxicity. So go through it again, but go through the toxicity as your healed self and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to transmute that energy and it's going to be an unhealed experience because you'll find yourself with that toxic person and they'll try to do some things and you're like, no, no, and you'll set boundaries. What you're doing is reshaping how it is that you interact with that energy. So yourself, your version of yourself that went through that, they're going
Mm-hmm.
to be with you in that experience and they'll feel exalted. They'll feel liberated because they're like, wow, my self has grown. They learned from me. What I
Right.
went through has helped me.
Right.
Boom. And then at that point, you're good. Now keep that elixir there, keep the potion there, keep the magic there, and then let the other people start coming in. And
Ex-
you'll end up finding yourself in new spaces, going to new restaurants and stuff. Don't shy away from that part. You got to take the risk to where you'll really want your favorite stuff one night and it won't be available.
Right.
And then you'll have to do something different. Go do the different thing. And even if it irritates you, just go do the different things because you'll realize new energy's coming in, new stuff is coming in. You'll be like, damn, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I just had to go through the ick and
Right.
feel.
That's true. Okay, so that was what I was about to ask too. So let's say that that person is already that's in. So they called someone in. Um, they attracted someone, and it was the person that they attracted was toxic. They were toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So we're healing ourselves. We're healing. We know that this person that we're with is toxic. So we recognize that. But
Mm-hmm.
we're healing ourselves. Do we stay with that person because we love them now? Or do we
Mm-hmm.
step back and just say, okay, I'm just gonna wait for my healed version person to come, the person that that I'm attracting healed, or do we work with this toxic person? What do we do?
You would work with yourself working with the toxic energy. So it
Mm,
will go beyond the person and it'll
mhm.
tap into the frequency because you drew that person in,
Right.
which means that they're a reflection of you to some degree. So
Mm,
what is it about this person that you are attracting? And within there, now, especially if you're in a space where you're not so filled up with the doneness,
Right.
where you're like, I gotta get out of this, I'm finished. If you could allow yourself to tap into a spirit where you're like, okay, hold it. I'm here for a reason.
Right.
What can I learn? What can I learn? You
Mm.
could look at that person as a messenger and
Mm.
not as a toxic relationship partner. So you would shift
Mm.
their title from this toxic sir to
Right.
this messenger. I said,
Right.
come on,
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
right?
Toxic messenger. I love that. That perfect.
And you flip it. And so you also recognize too that that person ain't gonna heal you. You're
Exactly.
going to heal yourself through the experience and the engagement that you're having with the energy. So how you engage with the energy is what's gonna
Right.
heal you because it's your response. It's yours. It's you.
Mm. Okay.
So
That's
you don't run. You embrace.
right. You embrace what it is, with the what it
Why did
is.
I bring myself here?
Exactly. And you're recognizing the message that may come through to you. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's teaching me this, or I'm learning this. I need to correct this about myself, or whatever it is. Because like you said, it's a reflection. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
What I've normally found is like whenever I found myself engaging with toxic individuals, romantic, platonic, friendship, familial, um, strangers, you
Mm.
know, if somebody really irks me to the point where I'm like, I gotta go. This is a mess. I would be like, hold on. What about them is irritating me? What
Mm.
about it? And if I'm like, they're just making me angry. Like what they're saying is just bothering me.
Mm.
And I'm like, what are they saying?
Mm.
Well, it's not what they said, it's how they say it. How they say it. They were just so just ruthless with it. They just like da 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 da. And I'm like, do you not just be ruthless with things? No, I'm always talking with da 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 and with care and da da. Do you need to be ruthless? And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna throw up. And then I'm like, there you go. They're bothering you because you need to be ruthless. You're not ruthless all the time. You always talk with such care and such divinity and such da da da. And you need to call somebody a bald headed bitch. And then it's
Sometimes.
just like, I don't want to talk like that. And it's like, I know you don't want to, but it's a version of yourself that exists. And
Mm.
they're a reflection of you, and you're not accepting them and not accepting them, not accepting yourself. And so it's no judgment behind them. You're judging them. That's why you're bothered. And you're judging yourself for, and then you're also putting yourself on a pedestal and saying, well, I don't do that. And that's your ego. And so your spirit is just coming in trying to tell you, you got to bring it down just a little bit. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, so
Right.
yeah.
You have to sit down and really think, like, what is it and I have those moments all the time. It'll be someone that I'm around, or it's a friend of a friend, and I'm in their company, and then they're just like irritating me. And I'm like, why is it that they're irritating me? Like, what is it? And then I think about it and I'm like, okay, it's because of this. And I do that sometimes. Or it'll be like, okay, it's because of that. And okay, maybe I need to be that way a little bit. I get it. And even though, and sometimes I probably still don't want to be around. I'm like, oh, okay, I learned that lesson, but they're gonna have to get out my, space. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they still
Yeah.
got to go.
They still gotta go. But I learned. I realized it. Okay. So like, okay, my business is Saya Elixirs. I'm all
Mm-hmm.
about manifesting. I'm all about manifesting a life of luxury,
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle of luxury, living whatever I want to, or however I want to live within luxury, whatever that means to you. Luxury
Mm-hmm.
means different things to different people. To have the luxury of doing, certain things, living in a certain way, being able to do certain things. So, what is living or having a luxurious life to you? What do you call that? Or
I
how do you?
call luxury, you actually said it. And I didn't have a definition or an answer to it until right
Mhm.
now because you just gave me the language. So thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the language. I
Uh,
feel a life of luxury is doing whatever it is that you want to do. It's literally like doing whatever it is that you want to do.
that's
I
facts.
used I used to feel like luxury for me was money. I'm born and raised in LA.
Hmm.
Like a version of me felt
You're around
bougie
a
when
whole
one
bunch of
told
money
me,
in
"Oh yeah,
LA.
you were born at the Beverly Hills."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I grew up also like entertainment industry, started acting early and things. So like,
Oh,
I
that's
auntie
cool.
used to work on Sony Lot, Fox Lot. Like, there was always celebrities around,
Mhm.
celebrities coming to my basketball games, like for me. And so I'm like, I've always been in that energy. Then my dad's like a thing, and it's I've always been in it.
Right.
And so literally, I used to feel like, so
Mhm.
luxury is having things. Luxury having the big house, luxury having the car,
Right.
the clothes,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and so then in my, I was like, when I'm older, like me being able to do it all for myself, like that's what, being able to go on trips and all, like I thought luxury was having a wealth of it for
Right.
me to do it all the time whenever I want.
Hmm.
I discovered that luxury for me was living a life of authenticity where I could be exactly who I am
Hmm.
everywhere I go. And
Hmm.
I could do whatever it is that I truly wanted to do when it was in alignment for me to do it. And I always had what I needed in order to get
Ooh,
things
that's a great affirmation too. I always have what I need.
done. Amen. I
Love
always,
it.
if there's a TikTok, and I'm gonna send it to you. There's a TikTok.
Mhm.
I was out one day out
Mhm.
here in Miami,
Mhm.
and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, because I stay up in the middle of the night. And the sun's rising up, and I just was like, I always get what I need. Like, and it,
I love
and
that.
the song just came out of my body. I always get what I want,
Right.
and I'm like, oh my God. And it just came out of my body and I'm dancing to it and I'm on the streets, the birds is chirping. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just feeling my energy and literally that whole day, like, and I was like, oh my God, I
Mhm.
always get what I need. I literally always get what I need.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, if I really do need something, it will literally show up to me. I'm the type of person, I will go sit down on like a coffee shop. I will go sit in front of a store and not even buying anything. I will go stand in the middle of the Target and just be like, I don't know why, like I need, and I'll have told spirit, I need this, and I'm just standing there, and I'll just be like, I don't know, I don't care how weird it looks, and I'm gonna just look around, and I'm gonna just be like this, and I'm like, I need something, and then I'll be like, oh, that's what I need. Even right now, like I'm looking at the chandelier in this moment, so I'm like, oh my God, a light bulb, like it looks like a light over my head, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, boom. And like to where I always get what I need, I will slow myself down to the point of like my physical body stopping just to allow my spirit and my energy to be the only thing flowing and moving. So that way I can receive what I need to know. Now my feet can walk and go somewhere because I didn't have no map directions. I had no map quick.
Mhm.
I was out here just like strumming and I'm like, why am I not getting it? Girl, you got nowhere to go. You walking on
Right.
dirt, girl. Slow down, chill out, and let the divine blow a breeze by your ass. So that
Right.
way you end up discovering, oh my God, there's a path on the floor. Yeah, because you got a gust of wind come in, baby. Now you can
Right.
see. So now you're
Exactly.
like, okay, cute. I'm out. I'm about to go do this.
Right.
Um, so like for me, that's living a life of luxury. And I want to share with you right, even right now, like I'm
Mhm.
on this I chose to live a life of authenticity and
Yeah.
I was so adamant about it.
Right.
I'm in this moment now. I live a life of luxury where I get to do whatever I want. I get to go
Mm.
wherever I like. If I truly want to be somewhere, I just was living in Puerto Rico for 2 months.
Ooh, I love
Ask me how
it.
I pulled at like, and I'm talking staying in some of the cutest of Airbnbs. I'm
Mm.
talking manifesting on the spot.
Mhm.
Like there was one day I was hanging out with a friend and I said, I want to live in a penthouse. I want to have a penthouse experience. Da 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 da. I want it to be like this. Literally, I stayed in an Airbnb with my homies for the weekend. The next day, I booked a house. And when I got to the place, to the elevator, I didn't even realize it in the Airbnb like little thingy thing. It said you're gonna click the penthouse suite. I
Ooh.
said what? Took me to the penthouse. Then I only had it booked for 2 days. I had it booked for one day actually. Why did it end up occurring that I was able to extend it every day? Boom, money coming in every day, but enough for me to
Oh.
book it day by day. Ended up staying there for the week. God said, don't try to book it and try to pay for the whole thing for a week or give yourself, because I thought that was luxury. I have it for an extended period of time. God
Right.
said, oh no, I already got you on the extended period of time, but I'm going to give it to you like this stuff. Book it for a day. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to enjoy it that one day. And it had
Right.
a balcony, wraparound balcony.
Oh,
I had
wow.
never seen a butterfly. And I had been in Puerto Rico for about 2 weeks. And I was like, where the hell are the hummingbirds? I was like, where the hummingbirds at? All
Right.
the damn trees and no hummingbirds.
Right.
In the penthouse, I'm chilling on the couch. Hummingbird pull up. I squealed, ran outside. It ran because it got clear, but I was like, oh my God. And literally, like, end up staying at the Airbnb for 5 days. Had a whole
Good.
luxurious, healing, just generous experience. And then I also didn't have food today that I pulled up. And literally on my way to the Airbnb, I was like, watch the Airbnb have some food or something. Why did I get there? Fresh bag of Doritos, fresh bag of Tostitos, fresh bag of salsa, a fresh box of noodles, fresh box of macaroni and cheese, fresh
What?
box of Alfredo sauce, fresh box of marinara sauce, all the seasonings that I need as well, sazon, everything. Then it also had beers in the fridge, also had some wine coolers up in there as well. People just left stuff from the past. And I said, God,
Oh,
this is why I was like, oh, I live a life of luxury. I
I
don't
love
need to be a
that.
bag lady, always
Right.
having it stored on me. I don't
Right.
even have to hoard money and have stuff in a savings account.
Mhm.
God just makes sure I always have it in the most effortless and the most easy way possible.
Effortless. Oh, I love that. I love it. The most
And
effortless.
that's luxury.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love
Like
that.
to just being able to be in your freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really free? Think of a bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
What baggage are they carrying other than their feathers? And
Right.
don't they always have what they need? They don't know what they're gonna eat that day, but they're willing
No,
to go out and go fly and go soar because they know they always got sight.
is
So if you
exact.
know you always got sight and you know you always gonna have stuff because the earth has infinite resources, then you ain't gonna never lose. So
At
then
all.
you ain't never gotta keep nothing. You
Mm,
always can just have what it is you need for the day. And
exact.
that's the life of luxury that I live now. I always have what I need for the day. And my day continues. I live a continued life. So the moment that by the time I'm going to sleep, whether or not it's midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, like that's the end of my day. Once I'm like, I'm about to go to bed or bed, so we're like, let me talk to my subconscious and make sure like, are we solid, we good, so that way when I wake up, I know the reality I'm waking up to. Because
Mm.
if you want to do another conversation, I'm really dope at like changing reality. The best way to change your reality
Oh, let's
is
hear
right
it.
before you go to sleep.
Is
Then,
do what?
okay,
Wait, say that
I
again.
got
Say
you.
it again. Yeah.
So when you want to like time jump, when you like, I need to shift this before
Mhm.
you go to sleep. Already know what this new reality is, right? Speak it to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, when you become unconscious, it's going to program within you this reality. It's going to get you set up. You're going to heal. You're going to do all these things in your sleep. When you wake up, anything you need to clear, you will have these experiences in your waking state when you wake up again. So that way you are in alignment with this new reality. And the key is to know the emotions that you need to feel because you're going to embody these emotions. And
Mhm.
so you'll be like, look, so let's say, for example, you're like, look, I need to have a lot of energy tomorrow. I need to have answers to this. I'm creating this new elixir. I need to have all these things. Don't stress yourself about having the information. Just
Mhm.
know what you need. Tell your subconscious, I need this, 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 and this. And then know that you already have it. There's a difference between need, I need it, please give it to
Mhm.
me,
Mhm.
to, I need to have this, or I would love to have this. I like to say I would love to have, but I need to have is also a word you can use, so I don't like to restrict myself.
Right.
So you tell your subconscious, hey, I need to have this, and this from the grocery store, from my bank account of infinity, so that way I could create. Okay, bet these are the things that I feel that I need. Okay, great. I'm gonna deliver it to you. Say that to yourself, and then feel yourself already having it. When
Mhm.
you go to sleep with it, when you go to sleep at the vibration of
Mhm.
where you already need to be, you're going to sleep already overflowing, already at that place because energetically you've already aligned to it. If you already feel yourself having it, you're already happy and you're there. You got a vision before you go to bed. Because
Mhm.
when you go to sleep, it's the last thing on your mind. Because it's the last thing on your mind, what is your subconscious going to do when you sleep? When you're asleep, your subconscious is going to recreate your habitual thoughts, your pattern, but you just created a new pattern way of thinking because you programmed it into you. Anything unconscious that you would have that would hold you back from it, you would hear those doubts before you even go to sleep, and you would tell your mind, no, that's incorrect, no, 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 no. So you're already deprogramming your mind, and when you're asleep, you're programming your mind to what it is that you would need. So when you wake up, you're living your new program, and you're like, I got it. This is how I took myself off having alarm clocks. I have
Mhm.
not used an alarm clock since 2019,
Mhm.
and I'm always on time. Always wake up. Always have what I need. Always.
Oh.
Always. And this is my trick. This is my. If you ever need to text me, be like, no, honey, wait, I need you to hold on. I'm trying to do something. How would I do this? I'm also, when it comes to language, I'm a beast with the lingo. So it's because you also got to have the words right because the words is going to be frequency. So I always teach my clients, you don't want to use negatives. You want to use what you want to happen. Even if you're like, okay, I don't want to feel this way anymore. You would say, I release myself from feeling this and embody this. A release is a let go. It's a freedom, but you don't want to say, um, I quit this or I give up this or no. It's a freedom. You want to, what makes you feel, it's always about uplifting yourself. So
Mhm.
what language would make you feel up, da 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 da. Which is why we wouldn't use toxic, sir. We would use messenger. It
Messenger.
switches
So
things.
you're changing
Gotcha.
the language of it pretty much.
To change the frequency.
You're
Mm-hmm.
changing the frequency. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Because
that a
then that
lot.
lifts, it helps you give you, it like helps you give you a boost to where you
Mhm.
want to go. So when you do this right before you go to sleep, The thing is that when you tell yourself this as a lullaby, as you're going to sleep, you're allowing yourself to get into a meditative state where yourself is now, that's where the program is. That's when you can start to program somebody when they're in that state of like, when they're in that state of hypnosis. I believe this would be your, I believe it would be your theta, no, it's your alpha state when you're in your, I believe, I'm like I wrote about it, it's in my guide. But however, like when you're in that dream state where it's meditative and you are easily impressionable, then you can program you there. And anything that's not in alignment with it is going to fall off because it's not meant to stay. And so when you think about, yeah.
So
Once
are
you
you
try it,
saying it
you'll
out
be
loud, or are you thinking it? So you're saying, if let's say I'm about to go to sleep and I needed this video to go viral, right? So what would I say? What would I say before I go to sleep? Do I say it out loud? Do I say it in my mind? And before I go to sleep, how do I do it?
okay. So this is gonna be tricky because you want to make sure you know why you're doing something, the purpose behind it, right? So let's say it's this video and it's going viral, and you're like, this is a part of your healing mission, it's part of your business. You're like, nah, this is really going to expand, it's going to really enlighten people. How does that make you feel, right? And you're like, oh damn, like I feel really excited that I'm helping people, like, you know, with this information. And so you would then tell yourself the story, and you could say it in your mind or out loud. So let's say, for example, you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited that this video is helping people. This video is helping so many people. I'm so happy this video is helping so many people. And you're gonna go to sleep with this smile on your face. I'm so happy this video is helping out so many people. You know what video you're talking about. So you don't have to be so rigid to say da 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 da, right? And you might post 17 clips and not one of those 17 clips works, right? And then one day you're gonna be like, you know what, I want to post this random clip, and you post random one, that one goes viral. So you release yourself from the attachment of when it goes viral. It doesn't need to happen immediately, tomorrow, the next day, da da da. This time is an illusion. It happens in alignment when it needs to happen, when it's for the good of the entire collective. Because alignment, boom, and that's key as well. Because then you also release your need. That's releasing the need to have it, but I already have it. It's already done. I'm just letting the universe know to put it in the program,
right?
To run it, actually not even to put it in the program because it's already programmed, but to run it and align me with that RAM program. So I'm living there, so I know I get to experience it. Da da da. So when you go to sleep, oh, I'm so glad this video is doing this. I'm so glad I'm so happy. And you know it makes you feel good and it's pure of intention. Oh, you go to sleep with that smile on your face. If you start saying it out loud in your mouth, your mind is just gonna start to say it. And you'll find yourself kind of dozing off. And then you start to go to sleep. But you keep talking to yourself, just completely. One of the things I did was I love myself. I used to say affirmations when I was asleep. So I would go to sleep saying, I love myself. 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 And I would keep telling myself subconscious, I want you to program in my mind, I love myself. Subconscious, tell myself subconscious. Just tell me. And I'm just talking to myself about love myself. No, nothing rigid, just conversation to my subconscious mind.
That I love myself.
And that I love myself. Tell me why I did that so well to the point where I was in my dreams saying affirmations that I loved myself. Then it extended to me waking up saying I loved myself. First thing in the rising as I'm waking up, I love myself.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, and that's how I knew that it worked. That's how I knew that I got it. And I learned this type of like programming from the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph
I
Murphy.
have it. Yes, I love it.
Yep.
Yes.
That book helped me out so much. One Christmas, I gifted it to 6 of my friends. I was like, I need y'all addresses. I'm buying y'all.
I might have to do that. Yeah.
And I just gifted it out. And then I have a self-healing guide. And I named it as one of my book recommendations, one of the top books for people to help themselves. When you understand the power of your subconscious mind, you can create and do anything. Easy.
I'm going to read it again.
I recommend it.
Yes, when I was reading it, it's powerful. And going back to when you said you were in Target and you would just wait, I actually did an experiment when I was in Miami, but I did it with the my elixir. It was actually this one, the April X2. And April X2 is for I created it and programmed it specifically to attract, to enhance your presence, to attract attention. And it also enhances intimacy. So sex, passionate moments, whatever you're trying to attract in that area, right? So my friend, I'm like, I always, before I release anything to the public, I always put it on myself and I say my affirmation. I make sure it works and I see how powerful it is before I release it, so I can say, okay, so this is what's going to happen when you do it. If when you say these affirmations, it's already been programmed. I already set the intention on it before I give it out, right? So
Yeah,
exactly.
that felt good.
So
I'm like, oh, okay.
so with me and my friend, I'm like, okay, so let's experiment. We're in Miami. I'm like, okay, so say your affirmations, say what you want to happen today. And let's do it. Right. So I give her some of the oil. She closes her eyes, she visualizes how she wants the day to go. She says her affirmations. I don't even listen, I let her do her. I let her have her moment of doing that, right? So we go the entire day. As soon as we get out the car, three guys come up to her. Oh my God, you're so mind you, we had on hoodies and we're in Miami with hoodies on. We had on hoodies and we're just like walking around. We're about to go eat. We don't no makeup. We just regular, rain just in our vibe. And the guy's like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Where do y'all going? Can we sit with you? Can we eat? And then she's looking at me like, what in the world? Because she's like, I never get attention. That's why, I never get attention like this. I'm like, I don't know. So then I'm like, so we sit down, we're eating. The guys are like, oh my God, their tab is on me. I'm like, oh, okay. So then we leave there, we get back in the car, we go home and change. We'll go to the hotel and change. And I'm like, okay, so where we're going? She's like, we're going to the beach. I'm like, okay, let's go to the beach. So we bring changing clothes, we get to the beach, and we're just walking. Another group of girls and guys. Oh my God, where are you doing? Oh, where are you from? Like I actually started recording because I'm like, this is getting crazy. Then we ended up leaving. As we're leaving, some guys asked to have pictures with us. They're like, can we take pictures with you guys? Pictures? We're not like, why? And they're like, no, we just want pictures. You're so beautiful. Oh my God. I'm like, what did you say? So I'm like, what did you say? Your attention. So I'm looking at her and she's like, so then I'm like, okay, so we're hungry. Let's go get some food again. She's like, oh, we have to go to the other side of, like, I guess 4 or 5 blocks away. I'm like, I'm not walking. I said, we need to call an Uber. She's like, we're not calling the Uber. So the little taxi things, when the people are on the bike or whatever, he walks by. He's like, she flags him down. He's like, get on in. I'm like, okay. We get in. It's time to get out. I'm like, okay, so how much do we owe you? He's like, no, you were just so beautiful. You don't have to pay. I'm like, what? And then she's like, thanks. And we just hop out. It was just a crazy day, but like you were talking about, it flowed like that. I mean, she put the oil on. I didn't put any oil on that day. I was literally just on my vibe, just in my vibration. She put on the oil. She said her affirmations, whatever she said. And I'm like, okay, so what did you say? And she said, I said all types of things. She did not want to say, what exactly what she said. I really don't even remember. She's like, I just said today I wasn't gonna pay for nothing. She said I was gonna she said it was just gonna be a really good day. I was gonna get a whole bunch of attention. I was like, wow, okay. And that's all she said. I said some other things, but I forgot. I was like, okay. But she set the intention for the entire day and it happened as the way that she wanted it, the way that she said. So powerful.
Wow.
Affirmation is very powerful. Yes. Very
Oh
powerful.
my goodness. And that also is a testament to the elixir that you make as well, like the oil that you make and the potency of your magical purity. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that you mentioned as well, like that's what got me hyped and that's what the energy, because I'm feeling it again. Where
Mm-hmm.
when you were like, before I put something out, like I'm gonna go test it. Like I wanna go see.
Yes.
Like I don't know if everybody, I don't feel that everybody does that. And that's when you have a purity of intention,
Mm-hmm.
that is how you manifest. That's how you get what you really want, because you're being honest about it. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point, like the universe can respect it because it's
Mm-hmm.
pure. That's
Right.
how you have individuals who be out here real dark and real evil, like with
Yeah,
negative
I know.
intentions. They
Yeah.
be winning because they're purely that way. They're like, no, I'm not gonna hide it from you. That's who I am. And you're like, well, how they still winning? Da 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 da. And you're like, because they're honestly that type of person and they don't hide it from nobody. You're
Mm-hmm.
a really pure person and you have really great intentions, but like you mean for the elixir to actually work, for the oil to work for people and to
Right.
help them out. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna work. Wow, that's
Right.
dope. I'm
No,
excited to get mine.
I would hate to I hate getting, scams and stuff like that. So I would hate to put something out and I didn't even try for myself. I'm just putting stuff together and giving it out and saying this for this and it's not. I have to try it out or my subconscious, I'm gonna be over here like feeling bad or feeling like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm not gonna feel right. So I just can't see myself, doing that. That's just messed up. No, I have to
Mm.
experience it. I have to feel it. I have to know, okay, I know it's going to work. So here you go. And that's why I can put it out with confidence. Like, okay, here you go. Yeah, you want some, yeah, it's going to work. And then when they give me that feedback, like, oh my God, it worked. I'm like, I know. I know it's going to work. So yeah, this was a really great conversation. Like,
Yeah. Like
amazing.
I feel the same.
Yes, it flown great. It was like water. Everything was just aligning. We were like right there on top of everything. It was great.
Hey, water reflection.
Yes. How do you feel right now about everything?
I feel thrilled.
Yes.
I feel I was getting deja vu
Mhm.
in the middle of this recording, and I was like,
Uh,
and you mentioned it going viral and things, and I'm like, and yes,
it's
yes,
gonna,
I
yeah.
feel like it's gonna do it. It's gonna do
Yeah,
its thing
it
because
is. We got some good
it's
stuff.
pure information. It's dope.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
healing, folks. And to be honest with you, it's Black History Month, and I'm a
It is.
person who doesn't really like pay attention to like race and things of that sort
Right.
normally, and so like my spirit is like, no, mention it, girl, and I'm like, to have you like a Black woman and
Yes.
me another Black man or Black
Mhm.
woman, Black queer individual, because I resonate with everything that just fucking is.
Right.
I'm a
Exactly.
mermaid, and I'm just like, what we're talking about is real potent information. It's
Yeah.
real juicy information.
It
Like,
is.
and both of us are very pure in what we do.
Mhm.
Oh, this is bound to be magical. Whatever it does, it's just bound. It's bound to eat. It's bound to deliver. And I
Mhm.
feel like there's going to be a lot of folks who are going to want to take this information that we're talking about and the conversation that we're having and want to share it on their platforms. Want to be like, y'all, like check this out. Like look at this talk. Like I've yet to have like I feel like such a healing and like natural and like chill conversation like this where I'm being interviewed like from a Black owned business by a Black woman. Like this is like I'm like I like this. This is
Yes.
cool.
And it's
Like
funny. It's funny because like I'm just now coming out. Like I'm just now showing my face and showing that I'm a Black woman because at first I was just behind the scenes. I was just letting the product do its thing, speaking for itself, and everyone thought that I was either Spanish or Caucasian or anything else but Black. No one knew that I was Black, right? So when I come out
mhm.
like, hey y'all, and it's like, wow, I didn't know you. Like, yeah, this is me. I don't know if it was the product. I don't know if it was just, I don't know what it was, the website, but no one knew or no one thought that it was me. Like I'm Black, So yeah,
Mhm.
Black History Month. And, as a Black woman, it's not many luxurious, brands here in the world. It's some, but it's not, and it's not really and spiritual brands at that.
Mhm.
So I wanted to just say, okay, let me come out. Let me come out. Let's talk about things. Let's talk to healers. Let's talk to people that's doing things with their collective and want to help people. Let's go ahead and do it, and let's do it on a platform. So that's when I'm like, okay, Saya Wellness. I already have Saya Elixirs. That's doing great. Let's go ahead and really sit down and talk to healers, people that's helping the community, people that's helping their collective. And speaking on that, I need to know, like, when we put this out, how do people get in contact? How do they book you? How do they get a tarot reading? How do they how,
Okay, so the easiest way to get in contact with me is through my website, www.igotime.com.
Mhm.
I got time is spelled EYEGOTTHYME. I like the eyeball, got time like the herb.com.
Mhm. Okay.
On my website, they have access to my blog. They have access to my bookstore. As an author, I have 3 books and I have a self healing guide.
Mhm.
They have access to information about my healing retreat that I'm hosting here in Miami in April 23rd and 24th. They have access as well to like my news channel, if you will, where it's just any interviews that I have with people, anytime I'm connecting with other individuals. So this I will also place on there.
Yes.
Um, and then they have access to my Soul Sessions tab. So if you're wanting to book a session with me, it's called Soul Session. So on my website, you will click Soul Session. I have
Mhm.
Soul Sessions 30, Soul Session 60, either 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and then Soul Session series, where
Mhm.
I can work with you. We can partner for 6 months. set a plan, and then get you to where you need to be spiritually over 12 60-minute soul sessions that are happening bi-weekly. And
Mm.
so, in addition to that, is there anything else that's on there? Oh, I have some new events that's going to be coming up. So that page is going to be dropped rather soon because I want to be connecting with more businesses, like more individuals who are vendors, but who have like brick and mortars. And I want to come to their shop, and host like 1 day, like healing retreats or 1 day healing events. Where we
I
talk,
love
where we
it.
connect, where I do workshops. I'm a really great workshopper. And so I've curated some workshops. I've curated a workshop about authenticity. It's about 3 hour workshop, and it would have you leaving just exalted, like
Mm.
just be. It's everything that I've done for myself that I've been able to curate into a smaller time span
Mhm.
because I've done the work now. So now I know how to lead someone there at that time to
Mhm.
get them transformed enough where they can continue to work further and build upon what they've done at the workshop.
Okay.
And so, yeah, they'll find all that information on my website. Now, when it comes to booking a reading, the only way to book a reading with me, personal one-on-one session, is through my
Mhm.
website.
Mhm.
Keeps it real clean.
Right.
That's igotime.com/soul sessions.
Mhm.
Now, if they are on Instagram or on TikTok,
Mhm.
if they catch me live. I'm always doing live tarot readings. I'm
Ooh.
always channeling. I'm always pulling up, and we do the reading on the live. So if they're cool, being on that live space and they're open to that, we go in and we talk about it. And the beautiful thing is me doing it on live. I'm all about community. I really love community. Aquarius rising, Venus and Aquarius.
I'm an
So like,
Aquarius.
when you said that, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so, like, I love community. I love giving back. I love showing up. And so, for me, one of the ways in which I give back is not giving something away for free, but actually just charging like a lesser rate for the service. And some people they'll be like, "Honey, you know that your readings worth more than this, right?" I was like, "Beloved," I was like, "People aren't paying. Like, they're like, you're worth more than this. Like, they're not paying for my work. They're not paying for me. They're paying for a service." I was like, "I know what I'm doing there." I was like, "But you can't afford my website. You have to give me everything yourself."
Right.
I'm infinite. I'm an entire infinite being. So you don't have to pay for me. You're not getting me.
Right.
You're getting something that I'm capable of doing. And then I'm here for good things. Okay.
Mm.
And so on my lives, you can pop up and pull in, and the rates will change depending on how my spirit is moving. My spirit's talking about because I always connect with the divine about
Yeah.
purity. And I'm like, what we charging today? What we on? Like, what do people need? Because I'm like, if God's like, okay, look, collectively, people going through financial challenges, do it for 22. All right, bet. If God's like, no, people chilling, they find the people that I'm bringing in, they do 33. All right, then 33. Like, and I'll just switch it around and just stay. I normally stay within the range of about 22 to 44.
Okay,
And
that's
so
good. That's
yeah, and it's like, and it happens on the live. And the beautiful thing is that everybody that's in the live gets to learn, and they get
right.
to. It's an overflow. So what ends up happening is whoever I'm doing the reading for, the other people in the room, they need to hear something I'm talking about, and
Right.
so everybody can always afford to pay for a reading, but
Exactly.
they can pay in so many other ways with their energy. They can pay with their focus. They can pay with their time. They can pay, with information that they
Sharing it.
come in and they
Yeah.
add, sharing it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
there's so many ways. And I'm all about like shifting out of the money blockages and like moving beyond the money, just physical dollars and cents, and realizing that like you are currency, you are energy, you are water, like you're infinite. You have everything you need. It's
Have
okay. Like don't let
everything.
money ever tell you you can't be somewhere or can't do something or can't show up in a certain way. And so I'm like, no, you'll always get what you need. Some people be like, honey, I want to get a reading from you so bad. And I'm like, beloved, relax. Just hang out in the room. Somebody gonna have it. And I always have people who will be like, hey, honey, can I just send you a donation? We gift a reading to someone. And I'm like, yeah, cool, okay. And so, or people would be like, hey, honey, can I pay for a? I had like one of my girls. She was really like, someone said something in the comments. She said something about her being broke. And the way my soul hive is, they're like, oh no, ma'am, we don't talk like that. And
Yeah.
so literally one of my friends, like, one of my girls in the room, she goes, oh hell no. She goes, girl, she's like, you are not broke, don't use that language. She goes, honey, I'm sending you money right now. Can you please do a collective reading? Because I don't know what's going on with the collective, but we not talk like this. And I was like,
I love
oh my
that.
god. So dope. So she literally sent me the reading. So I did a collective reading for the group, and it was everybody in the room was like, honey, you got me crying right now. Like, because my readings, I go in, like, I don't hold nothing back. I'm a
Yeah.
Capricorn. I'm
Right.
Capricorn with